Hi, and welcome to the NFL Fan Forum. My name is Art, aka the Sea Cow, and this is my sidekick, John, aka the Cowlick.
What's up?
Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be discussing our picks for the upcoming divisional round playoff games and who moves on to the championship games. But first, our play of the day.
With Montgomery on 1st and 10, is running back in a hole, and then he's off with a nice stiff arm, and it's a foot race down the sideline. Jackson in pursuit, Reed in pursuit, he's gone to the house, 80-yard touchdown run.
So let's talk about the first game of the divisional round of the playoffs. That would be between the Los Angeles Rams and the Green Bay Packers. The Los Angeles Rams come into this game with an upset victory over the Seattle Seahawks in the first round. And that was a huge upset. It was very surprising, but I tell you what, the Rams offense and defense actually showed up very well in that game. And caught the Seahawks, I think, flat-footed. I think the Seahawks got a little overconfident. And so, yeah, the Rams are coming off a very confident win over the Seahawks. And now they get to go and face the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers, who had the week off. And it'll be in Green Bay. So what do you think is going to happen in this game?
A lot's going to happen. You have one of the best high-powered offenses being run in the Packers offense, and you have one of the best defenses in the NFL in the Rams. So it's going to be a high-powered offense versus a high-powered defense. Who will win? To me, I think the Rams defense would win that battle because it's just too good. You have Aaron Donald, you have Jalen Ramsey. He's going to lock down Davante Adams very easily, just like how he did with DK Metcalf. If he can lock down DK Metcalf, he can easily lock down Davante Adams. Then it's the Packers defense versus the Rams offense. Easy. Rams offense is better because the Packers defensive line sucks against the run. And they're going to give up big yards when Cam Akers runs the ball. It's going to be a long day for the Packers. So their secondary is actually pretty good, I'll admit, but their running defense sucks. The Rams' running game has been very good lately, even against the Seahawks. So I would say that the Rams have the biggest advantage in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I think that the way that Jared Goff's going to have to attack this Green Bay defense is definitely going to have to be the running game, like you said. I'm thinking that Cam Akers and, of course, Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson. Although Darrell Henderson is actually, I don't think, going to play in this game. Looks like he's injured for this game, unfortunately. So Malcolm Brown will have to pick up the slack for him. And, yeah, the running game is going to have to do the job. And then, on a balancing way, I think they're going to have to also pass to Tyler Higbee more because that's one thing that Green Bay is vulnerable to is the tight end. But passing to the wide receivers, I really think that would be a bad bet for Jared Goff in this game. So, yeah, I think that that would be the best way that Jared Goff's going to have to try to win this game and obviously be turnover-free. It's just going to have to be the run game, the quick passes, the sweep plays, pretty much everything that head coach Sean McVay loves to do. I think that's what he's going to do. So what do you think Aaron Rodgers has to do against Aaron Donald in this defense?
There isn't a lot he really can do. The only thing I can really think of is that they somehow run the ball well, and Davante Adams has to run great routes. He has to in order to juke Jalen Ramsey out. That's going to be hard to do because Jalen Ramsey is just such a good corner. But, Aaron Rodgers is going to have a terrible day against this Rams defense because it's just too talented. So I don't know if there's any way that they can really get past it. So, yeah, that's my only way. Just Davante Adams running great routes and him getting open and, just trying to run the ball at least pretty well.
So looking at this game overall, going to our predictions, I really think that the Rams have a good chance to win this game. I think that this is a bad matchup for the Green Bay Packers. As we talked about, they are very bad at trying to stop a good running game. And when Davante Adams isn't getting open, because of somebody like a Jalen Ramsey. That can be problematic for Aaron Rodgers, although he does spread the ball around. I just think that he's going to have a little bit of trouble reading that defense fast enough, and I really think the pass rush is going to get to him a few times and rattle him. And so I think that the LA Rams are going to win this game, and I think it will be kind of a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be something like a 27-20 type of game for the Rams to win this game. What do you think?
I'm expecting something different because the Rams are just too good. I'm expecting turnovers. The Packers causing turnovers and the Rams getting the ball because their defense is just too good. And then the Packers sucking at the run. I expect the Rams to win at 30-10. That's a lot of points, but that's really realistically what I expect. A lot of turnovers, Cam Akers running very well, and the Packers defense just not doing well, and the Packers offense just not trying to get anywhere on offense. So that's what I expect, 30-10.
All right, so let's move on to the second game on Saturday, and that'll be the night contest between Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. This game will be played at Orchard Park in Buffalo, and they're expecting possible snow there and cold conditions. Lamar Jackson has even said that he's never played in the snow before, so this could be an interesting experience for the Baltimore offense, led by Lamar Jackson, especially since he's the only quarterback on the roster who's not hurt. So it should be an interesting matchup. Looking forward to the running games stepping up. Devin Singletary, Josh Allen can even scramble too, and J.K. Dobbins along with Lamar Jackson. I think there's going to be a lot of running plays in this game. Maybe a few pass plays that get through, but both of these secondaries are so good. This is going to be a very, very low-scoring game. I predict a low-scoring game in this one. So what do you think coming up?
I think a normal scoring game is going to happen because Lamar Jackson, he is going to fake everybody out by like running the ball with J.K. Dobbins or faking a pass to like Marquise Brown or something. Lamar Jackson can also do it with his feet. He has that little shimmy thing he does with his legs, so he can break tackles. They also have former Bronco Derek Wolfe on defense, who hasn't been really doing much. He's just been tackling players, but their defense is actually pretty good. But on the Bills side, you have Josh Allen, who sometimes runs, but he's good at throwing the ball. You have running back Devin Singletary, who's very good. And then you have wide receivers like Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, and John Brown. Holy moly, that's a lot of good players. So the Ravens secondary might have a tough time covering every single one of these wide receivers. But that's just me. But I think it's going to be a normal scoring game. Both offenses are going to be scoring touchdowns, and the defenses will get some stops, both of them, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with that. And moving on to what the quarterbacks have to do against their opposing defense that they'll be facing. I really think that Josh Allen, he's going to have to pick his moments. I know he's got that gunslinger mentality, and he wants to throw the ball to Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley and company. But he's going to have to be very careful with this one because the Ravens secondary is very good, and people like Marlon Humphrey are going to want to pick off passes as often as possible, of course. And in a possible bad weather game, it could be very probable, actually, that happens. But I have a feeling that Josh Allen is going to have to pick his moments to be able to pass the ball because the Ravens' defense against the run, they will get after the running game. They will try and stop Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. So, yeah, he's going to have to make some passes. They're going to have to do some long plays, some big plays, and then they can probably get a victory in this game, especially without any turnovers, which a young team, you never know with turnovers. So what do you think Lamar Jackson's got to do against the Buffalo defense?
Easy, run the ball. I know Lamar Jackson ran the ball against the Titans and he made a 47-yard touchdown with his legs, but that's because the Titans defense sucks. It's not the best when it comes to running the ball. But the Bills are very, very good at running the ball. But here's the thing. If Lamar Jackson doesn't go through the pile and goes around the outside of the Bills defense, he's going to get a lot of yards. And then he does that leg shimmy thing he likes to do. he's going to get much more yards. So, yeah, I think that's the only way they can, Lamar Jackson can attack it. Or unless he, throws the ball to, J.K. Dobbins for an easy gain. Or unless their wide receivers are able to make moves on the Bills secondary, which might happen. But, yeah, that's the only way I can think of Lamar Jackson just running the ball well.
All right, let's move on to our predictions for this game. So, looking at the Bills and looking at the Ravens, they're both hot coming into this game. There are going to be very, very tough plays in this game to gain on both of them because they're very good right now. But I still think the Bills are going to pull this off. I think that their quality of talent right now is just a little bit better than the Ravens. And I think that they're going to slow the Ravens' running game just enough to be able to get this victory. And I think it'll be a little bit bigger than we think. I think it's going to be something like a 30-17 victory for the Bills. And that's my prediction. What do you think?
Surprisingly, I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. I predict the Bills winning 27-20. Just by a touchdown. That's what I think because, like I said, both offenses are going to score touchdowns. There might be a few turnovers in this game, maybe pick sixes. And, yeah, that's what I predict. 27-20. Bills win.
All right, let's move on to the early game on Sunday. That will be the Cleveland Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs. This game should be a very offensive-oriented game with very low defense, if you ask me. It's going to be the Browns' very healthy running game versus the Patrick Mahomes and the Air Raid show. Looking at this, it's two quarterbacks that have faced each other many times in college and some classics in that arena. And now they get to face off in the playoffs, so this is going to be a really good one. So what are you seeing in this game?
I see a lot of potential for the Chiefs to beat the Browns. It might be a blowout, actually. Two pretty decent high-powered offenses. I mean, the Browns' offense is pretty good, but the Chiefs' offense is even better. And Browns' defense, when they have all their starters, is very good, but some of them are out, so that might be their biggest weakness, and the Chiefs will take advantage of that. And on the Chiefs defense, holy moly, everyone's healthy. So I think the Chiefs are going to give the Browns a hard time in this game.
So let's talk about the offensive matchups versus the opposing defenses. So looking at the Browns offense with Baker Mayfield at the helm, to win this game, he's going to have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who's, by the way, facing his old team. I'm sure he's very happy about that. They're going to have very big games in this one, and they're going to have to chew up a lot of clock and keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands and score points on every drive they can, and then limit turnovers and penalties. Again, this is the perfect scenario for them. But to beat the Chiefs, you've got to keep their offense on the bench, and that's the way they're going to do it, is have their high-powered running game, and Baker Mayfield maybe scooting along with a couple of quarterback bootlegs and rollouts to keep the defense honest and throw a few passes to some fairly decent receivers. But without OBJ, guys like Donovan Peoples-Jones are going to have to step up, even if he is a rookie, to go along with Jarvis Landry. Yeah, that's going to be the way that Baker Mayfield's going to have to score points. He's going to have to depend on that running game, and the offensive line is going to have to do an excellent job against the guys like Chris Jones and Frank Clark. So what do you think Patrick Mahomes has to do against Cleveland's defense?
Easy. Attack the Browns secondary. The Browns secondary was very, very good when they had Denzel Ward, Grant Delpit, and Greedy Williams. But now all they have in their secondary is Ronnie Harrison and Terrence Mitchell. And I have no idea who Andrew Sandoval and MG Stewart is. So that's going to be the place where the Chiefs are going to attack. They might attack on the running game. The Browns' defensive line is actually pretty decent in the running game. But, just the Browns' defensive line is pretty good. Here's the thing. The Chiefs have a spectacular offensive line with Eric Fisher leading it. So that might lead to either Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Le'Veon Bell getting big yardage, So maybe they'll take advantage of the Browns' defensive line and maybe the Chiefs' offensive line will make the defensive line spread out and make big holes for them, But that's where I would go. Just attack against the Browns secondary because it's probably their weakest point. Go deep, make big gains, and then score touchdowns. That's where I would go.
So now let's move on to the predictions for this game. Looking at the two teams, we're looking at two high-powered offenses that score points in different ways. I have a feeling, however, that with all the injuries the Browns have in their secondary, if the Browns can't run the ball on Chris Jones and Frank Clark and those guys, I think that it's going to be a long day for the Browns. And in this game, I think that that's what Steve Spagnuolo is going to basically protect against is the running game of the Browns. He's going to put a lot of people in the box, and he's going to make Baker Mayfield beat them. So I think that it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be like a 34-17 victory for the Chiefs. What do you think?
I was thinking kind of a bigger blowout. I was thinking 31-7. And I think that might be a lot to say, but the Chiefs' offense is just too good, and their defense is too good. They might intercept Baker Mayfield's balls too many times, and that'll lead to pick sixes. So that's what I think. A big, gigantic blowout.
And so now let's move on to the last game of the weekend, which will be Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. This game will be held in the Superdome, so no weather conditions to worry about. And these two teams have faced each other already twice this year. And New Orleans really made Tampa Bay pay both times they played them. Drew Brees looked great. The Saints defense really made Tom Brady look terrible. And we'll see if this changes or if Tampa Bay has something up their sleeve, because they've got some momentum going. So, and they've got Antonio Brown pretty much up to speed now, it looks like. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. Two familiar foes, just like we had with Seattle and the Rams last week. Third time, we'll see who gets the win. What do you see in this game?
I see a lot of potential for both offenses. Maybe not so much for the Buccaneers offense, but for the Saints offense for sure. The Buccaneers defense was struggling sometimes against the football team's offense, and that led to them giving up quite a bit of points. But the football team's defense was also giving the Buccaneers some trouble, and they made the game actually much closer. So can you imagine replacing the football team's defense with the Saints defense and replacing the Washington football team's offense with the Saints offense? Yeah, this is going to be a heck of a scary game for the Buccaneers. They're going to struggle a lot with stopping the Saints offense and trying to get past the Saints defense. So I do see a lot of potential, but I see mostly the Saints taking the advantage of winning this game.
Yep, I can agree with that. And with the two quarterbacks being both the oldest players in the league, probably, especially for a quarterback position, this should be a very good matchup. So I think that Tom Brady, I think he's got his work cut out for him. Lately, his deep ball's been doing better, but early on, boy, his deep ball wasn't looking that great. Maybe he's finally figured something out, and that's going to be needed against this pass rush to be able to get that ball accurately to the receivers deep. But against the Saints pass rush and a decent secondary, that's going to be a tall tale. That's going to be a hard one. But the best thing he can do is find Antonio Brown in the creases. If anybody can find those spots in that defense, it would be somebody like an Antonio Brown for 10, 12 yards and yards after catch. I think that that's going to be the guy he's going to have to start looking to. Not to say to avoid guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, because they're going to find their moments too. But if Tom wants to win this game, he's going to have to also not turn the ball over and not throw interceptions to a very sticky defense out there. Marshawn Lattimore is looking for picks, and those guys are going to be ready. So I think that if Tom wants to win this game, he's going to have a very balanced attack that's actually very successful, and the offensive line is going to have to really do well. Anyways, if he can do that, then I think that they can get the win. So what do you think Drew Brees has to do to get the win?
Well, Drew Brees, all he has to do is run a few trick plays with the other quarterback, Taysom Hill, who was spectacular against the Buccaneers the last two times. That's one way, but another way is attacking deep with Emmanuel Sanders and possibly Alvin Kamara. He's been going long for big gains too. Then there's also Michael Thomas, who came back from injury. He's looking great. And then tight end Jared Cook. Ooh, he might have a big day because the Buccaneers have a little bit of trouble covering tight ends. And don't forget the defense with Cameron Jordan starting. That'd be a scary defense to go up against. Tom Brady is going to get sacked a lot. I mean a whole lot. So I don't expect much from the Buccaneers, but even though they do have a very good offense, but think about it. All their playmakers on offense are getting old. Rob Gronkowski is near retirement again. Antonio Brown is near retirement again. And Tom Brady is near retirement again. And Leonard Fournette is midway through his career as a pro. So yeah, I don't really see much from the Buccaneers, but holy moly, Drew Brees is going to have a big day against the Buccaneers.
So let's move on to the predictions for this game. Looking at both teams with high-powered offenses and actually decent defenses, and New Orleans has a top 5 defense, and Tampa has a really strong running defense, so that's you can't overlook that. I think that this is going to be a pretty high-scoring game. I think we need to throw out the regular season game scores this time. I still think the Saints will win. I think it's going to be like a 31-24 type of game. Saints victory. And what do you think?
I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I was expecting it to be more like a 34-17 victory for the Saints. Sure, Tom Brady will get a few touchdowns, but Drew Brees is going to have a monster day against the Buccaneers. So that's what I expect. I expect the Saints to make quite a bit of turnovers like last time, and I expect a lot of trick plays with Taysom Hill in the mix. So yeah, that's what I expect, a big 34-17 win for the Saints.
So that'll do it for our show today. Our predictions for the divisional playoff round are going to be the Rams, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Saints going into the championship games. Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Be sure to destroy that like button and subscribe to our channel. And by the way, don't forget to turn on that notification bell so that you'll be notified when we post a new video. Again, thank you for joining us. This is Art
And John.
signing off.